As more and more members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) troop into the coalition political party, the African Democratic Congress, we have to remind ourselves, we have to remind the ADC of some of the evils that the so-called All Progressives Congress inherited from the PDP, so that the evils will not keep repeating themselves, as it were. In the first instance, the so-called Independent National Electoral Commission was not made independent by the PDP. Throughout the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo, the slogan was voting or no voting, PDP will win. That was the slogan. Voting or no voting, PDP will win. And that was the case in 2003 and 2007, to the extent that Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who was elected the president that year, 2007, said he was aware that the election that brought him in as the president was not free and fair, and Nigerians clapped for him, so to say. Nigerians were very happy for that admission, for that sincerity of purpose. And on that basis, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua went further to set up an electoral reform committee to correct the anomaly of an independent National Electoral Commission that is indeed not independent. The Electoral Reform Committee formed by Yar'Adua was headed by the respected Justice Mohammed Uwais, now of blessed memory, died this year. May God Almighty grant him eternal rest. I was a contributor, and I was acknowledged for my contribution with a letter from the secretary of the committee, because the essential thing that I kept saying was that if the so-called Independent Electoral Commission cannot be independent as long as the principal officers of the commission are chosen by the partisan people in government, the presidency, the legislature controlled by the ruling party, and all of that. So as long as the umpires of the election are chosen by the ruling party, you cannot expect that such a body will be independent. And that was one of the things the committee focused. Unfortunately, when the committee finished its work and made recommendations to make INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, independent, Yar'Adua himself developed cold feet and refused to implement the recommendations of the committee until he died in 2010, and his vice president, Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan, took over as acting president. He orchestrated everything and he became the elected president of Nigeria in 2011. Or rather, even before then, after the death of Yar'Adua in 2010, Nigerians keep pestering him to implement the recommendations of the Electoral Committee, but he refused. When Nigerians' voices became too loud for him, he took a step to douse the tension on him by appointing Professor Atahiru Jega as the chairman of INEC. And too many Nigerians became satisfied that at least Professor Jega was known for uprightness and that he would not dance to the tune of any ruler to do what is unjust. Yes, Jega was president of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities. He did well. As Vice Chancellor, he did well, and so has had a good record to recommend him for such a position. But Jega is only an individual. So if the leader or the chairman is strong, conducted uprightness, what about when such a person leaves office? That was again what I started saying. I don't know, some other people might have said the same thing, because it's too clear that a strong institution is better than a strong individual chairman. So the institution is strong means that it has rules and regulations that puts it on the right path. But that was what Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan and the People's Democratic Party dodged, so that they could continue to manipulate the electoral system. And that is what the All Progressives Congress inherited. Now, at the end of the rule of Jonathan and PDP in 2015, that brought in Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. He chose another chairman for the commission in person of Mahmood Yakubu, professor like Jega, but not of the same character and personality and record like Jega. And so APC had what it wants: possibility of manipulating the electoral system through who is chosen as the chairman of the commission. So that is one thing that the ADC gets power. Should the ADC get power, should not forget that he did something wrong in the past and started regretting it later, as the APC will regret later. Unfortunately, look at it now. Muhammadu Buhari, the old man, did his own as he chose, died. So not long after, he finished in 2023, died in 2025. Well, barely 2 years plus. In the second instance, another thing inherited from the People's Democratic Party by the so-called All Progressives Congress, that is not progressive but retrogressive. The unjustifiable, avoidable war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, not avoided by the People's Democratic Party under the presidency of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, Goodluck, and Goodluck Ebele Asikwe Jonathan. 2009 to 2015, the war was inherited by the All Progressives Congress under the presidency of another Fulani Muslim imperialist, Muhammadu Buhari, and perpetuated till today under the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, notwithstanding ravaging human lives and economic resources of Nigeria, creating worsening insecurities for Nigeria. Insecurity of life and property 2009 till date, inherited from the PDP, perpetuated by the APC. Those are the two major evils inherited from the PDP by the so-called APC, that is as retrogressive as any ruler, any political party can be, to the detriment of Nigeria. Now, the APC has added its own evils. The evil of herdsmen terrorism, empowered as from 2015 with AK-47, and have become larger than life. Daring anybody anywhere in Nigeria, all over Nigeria, ravaging agrarian communities, become a dread to agrarian communities, being raped, killed, their crops devoured. Oh my God. APC, so-called APC. Second thing, introduced as a matter of fact, the so-called APC inherited two major evils from the PDP and added three evils. The first evil, as I've said, is herdsmen terrorism, ravaging agrarian communities since all over Nigeria. The Boko Haram Muslim war was limited to the southeast. Under the APC, it boomeranged to the northeast, to the rest of northeast, apart from Borno State, and now pervasive in northeast and northwest under the so-called APC. But on its own, one, herdsmen terrorism is the major original to the APC, major evil original to the APC, herdsmen terrorism, equipped with AK-47 to become larger than life throughout Nigeria. In the second instance, doubling themselves, the presidents of the so-called APC, doubling themselves as petroleum minister and accounting for nothing as the president or petroleum minister of Nigeria. So second thing. And now so that is 2015 to 2023. As from 2023, the APC added a third one. Fuel subsidy is gone. While there had been claim of fuel subsidy, no government has said no more fuel subsidy, and so fuel subsidy must be sold at a much higher price with immediate effect, as if we were in a military era. That is original to Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, the Jagaban of the Fulani Muslim imperialists. So, the so-called APC inherited two evils and added three. So, two evils. And INEC that is not independent, and brutal, ravaging war against the Boko Haram Muslim community. Started and perpetuated 2009 to 2015 by the PDP, and perpetuated since 2015 till date 2025. Herdsmen terrorism 2015 to till date 2025. Doubling as petroleum minister, the president doubling himself as petroleum minister 2015 till date 2025, accounting for nothing, whether as president or as petroleum minister, accounting for nothing. 2015 till date 20, and then fuel subsidy is gone. Other subsidies are gone 2023 till date. So all these are for the ADC, African Democratic Congress, that we are praying should come to power as from 2027 by God's grace. And by the grace of Nigerians who are suffering now, not to look at the politicians decamping into the APC. Thank God, some APC members have also decamped into the ADC. Yeah, because it's a matter of conscience to ask yourself, is Nigeria really getting better under the APC, or because I am satisfied, I'm getting my needs? What about my neighbor? What about the future? The PDP must be regretting that it did not make the Independent National Electoral Commission to be truly independent after losing power. But that's how it happens. Regrets comes as a last, at last. Doesn't come first, it comes at last. Regret. So even the APC people now doing as if they are at the end of the world. You can see today, you can see tomorrow, and life is not as straight as a gun barrel. Life is graphic, up and down, and so what goes up must come down. Law of gravity. Whatever goes round comes round. So the injustice you are perpetrating today, expect the result tomorrow. So I urge more and more opposition political parties and members to decamp into the ADC. Particularly, should the ADC concede its presidential candidature to Peter Obi from the southeast, representing North, South, and Zonal Justice, so that we start on a plate of justice, not a plate of confusion. Our ticket is open to North and South. Anybody can emerge. No. We know where you are hiding. We know who you are fronting for. Atiku Abubakar from the North, who is desperate to become Nigeria's president, despite coming from the North, where Muhammadu Buhari has just served 8 years as Nigeria's president. To be like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who does not want to know that Olusegun Obasanjo from the Southwest served 8 straight years as Nigeria's president. Goodluck Jonathan was in Aso Rock for 8 years as vice president, as acting president, and as de facto president elected 2011 to 2015. So, and that justice consideration for others demand that the presidency should go to the southeast. Political order. What can you, where there is no order, what do you have? Chaos, confusion. And some people want to benefit from confusion, therefore saying that the ticket is open to anybody from anywhere. Common Nigerians, what do you stand to gain from confusion? Some of you who are benefiting now are supporting the APC, but you forget that today is not tomorrow. PDP was there yesterday. Many of those who were there yesterday are still alive today. Among them, David Mark. Among them, Aminu Tambuwa, who is now is being said to be possible running mate with Peter Obi, of which we are not going to oppose, except to say the mistake of the past still haunting Nigeria today. War against Fulani, war against the Boko Haram Muslim community still haunting Nigeria. An independent National Electoral Commission that was not made independent still haunting Nigeria till today. So all this lopsided structure of Nigeria being agitated by the independent people of Biafra, herdsmen terrorism being agitated by the likes of Sunday Adeyemo Igboho Oòṣà, all of this Tinubu left untouched, only to be all subsidies are gone and going from Japan to Brazil, and we don't know where next is going to go. He's supposed to be president of Nigeria, working in Nigeria for the progress of Nigeria. When Obasanjo took over, he was going from north to south, from pillar to pole, and people started, where did it end? He went to Brazil, he went to China, he went to Japan, he went to America, he went all over the world. Nigeria did not become a developed country, though he tried. At least if his successor built on his achievement, Nigeria will not be where we are today. But instead, Nigeria was plunged into war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, turned the community into a terrorist community to fight back governmental terrorism against it. That is the true story of the fact. And then herdsmen terrorism. And now all subsidies are gone to where? And we are not even told what fuel subsidy means in Nigerian context, and where the subsidy has gone, where other subsidies have gone. Why still sinking Nigeria in worse debts than those who did not declare all subsidies gone. But it behooves Nigerians, with particular reference to the opposition political parties, to come together as one. PDP cannot go it alone. ADC cannot go it alone. You need the PDP. But I said, whichever fields Peter Obi as the presidential candidate, that is where majority of reasoning Nigerians we want to support. To say, let us start with justice. We are not created for Islam and Christianity. We are created by God for God and for one another, irrespective of divisive religions of Christianity and Islam. Our fathers were living before the advent of Christianity and Islam. Providentially, I was not born by Christian or Muslim. I was born into pure African traditional community. I was introduced to Christianity Christianity was introduced to me in primary school. And I questioned it. I said, no. He said, we are not seeing you in church. I said, why will you see me in church? We are masqueraders. Eleguniwa. He said, it doesn't matter. You can be doing your masquerading and coming to church. As a kid, I thought it was a reasonable persuasion, and I started going to church. Forget about what follows after. I've regained myself.